Welcome to the Z-File. Today, we're opening a case on a color that, scientifically speaking, shouldn't even exist. Our target, magenta. All right, to get this investigation started, I'm going to need your help. In fact, you're about to become the primary witness in this case. All you have to do is stare right at that white dot in the middle of the screen. Come on, don't look away. Just let your eyes really soak in that green color. Keep looking just a little longer. Focus. Okay, you ready? Now, shift your gaze over to the white dot on the blank screen. So what are you seeing? That glowing kind of pinkish color, right? That little afterimage? That's the phantom we're hunting today. That's our Exhibit A. It's basically a ghost, a color created entirely inside your own brain. And here's the crazy part. The central mystery of our case, that color, it doesn't exist in the rainbow. Okay, so to figure out why this phantom color just showed up in your vision, we've got to look at the physical evidence. Let's pull up the official record, the visible light spectrum. So check this out. You know how when you shine white light through a prism, it splits into that beautiful rainbow? Well, that's not just pretty, it's a perfect lineup of colors, and each and every one of those colors corresponds to a specific measurable wavelength of light. This is like a fundamental rule of the universe. And yeah, you definitely know this lineup. It's the classic Roy G. Biv we all learned in school, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Just a perfect, unbroken line of color. Now here's the clue that cracks this whole thing open. Red light, it's got the longest, laziest wavelength. And violet, it's got the shortest, most energetic one. This means they are at the absolute opposite ends of the line. Physically speaking, there's no bridge between them, no shortcut. They're worlds apart. So if we scan this entire lineup, this spectrum of light, there is a glaring hole in the evidence. Magenta is just not there. It's what scientists call an extraspectral color, which is just a fancy way of saying it has no wavelength of its own. It's a missing person in the cosmic lineup of light. Okay, wait a minute. If the color isn't out there in the light itself, well, that means the trail just led us somewhere completely new. This whole thing, it's an inside job. The culprit is inside your own eye. So let's meet our three main suspects. They're the operatives deep inside your retina that handle color vision, your cone cells. You've got your L cones, they're tuned to long wavelengths, what we see as red. Then you have the M cones for medium wavelengths, that's green. And finally, the S cones, which pick up short wavelengths, or blue. So here's the play-by-play, the howdunit. Your eye sees a mix of light that triggers both ends of the spectrum at the exact same time. So your red cones and your blue cones, they both fire off a signal to the brain. But, and this is the key piece of evidence, your green cone, the one that detects the color smack dab in the middle of red and blue, reports nothing. Total radio silence. So your brain gets this completely paradoxical signal. It's like a message that says, hey boss, we're getting a strong signal for red and a strong signal for blue, but there is absolutely zero green in between them. It's a biological 404 error. The brain receives data that logically just shouldn't exist. So what in the world does it do? Well, it improvises. Faced with this gap in reality, your brain pulls off an absolutely ingenious biological hack. It creates a workaround to make sense of the complete nonsense it's being fed. Okay, so here's the core problem the brain is trying to solve. The physics of light, as we saw, is a straight line. It goes from red on one end all the way to violet on the other. That's it. But our perception of color isn't a straight line, is it? It's a circle. So to connect those two opposite ends of the real-world spectrum, red and violet, our brain does something incredible. It just invents a color to bridge the gap. It literally takes that straight line of light and bends it into the color wheel we all know. And as a Reddit user named the Gnome54 brilliantly put it, magenta is basically the neurological glue our brains use to roll that spectrum into a wheel. It's the made-up color that makes the whole system work. So the verdict is in. Magenta isn't actually a wavelength of light. It's not a real color out there in the world. It's a software patch, a clever bit of code your brain wrote on the fly to fix a bug in the data it was receiving from your eyes. It's a beautiful illusion. So, case closed on magenta, right? Well, not exactly. Because this verdict, it opens up a much, much larger case file, a deeper mystery about reality itself. Think about it, this leads to a truly wild conclusion. If magenta is a color your brain makes up, well then what about red or blue? They're all just made up too. Every single color you've ever seen isn't actually a property of the thing you're looking at. It's just your brain's unique interpretation of a boring old wavelength of energy. And if you need one final mind-bending piece of evidence, check this out.
The famous writer and scientist Goethe did this experiment with what he called an inverse spectrum, basically a beam of darkness in a bright room. And you know what happened? The roles completely flipped. In that reality, magenta fits perfectly into the spectrum, and it's green that becomes the made-up, non-spectral color that our brain invents to bridge the gap. How wild is that?
That right there proves it. Color is not an objective feature of the world at all. It's a subjective experience, a story that the neural circuits in your brain are telling you about invisible waves of energy. You're not seeing reality directly. You're experiencing a translation of it. And that leaves us with one final, kind of haunting question for the case file. If your brain literally invented a color just to make the world make sense, what other biological software patches are running right now? What other glitches are you looking at right this second that you perceive as solid truth? The case remains wide open.